Welcome back to another semester. Here we are, Econ 103, Introduction to Microeconomics. I'm Keith Yakucha. Purpose of this video today is we're going to be taking a look at D2L, our learning management system, and we're going to kind of just get a brief overview as to how our course site is set up and how to utilize it in order to be successful this semester. So let's go jump over, let's go take a look at it and get started. So first thing what we have is here we have online.camosun.ca. That's where you're going to want to navigate to. That's that bolded pit up in the top left there. You want to navigate there and you can log in using your C number and your password provided. If you're having trouble with that, if you're having difficulty, well, of course, right there, just below the password screen is the little help button. So feel free to use that and you'll be forwarded to the appropriate channels to assist you in logging in. Once we're logged in, however, we are going to be presented with an array of courses that you're enrolled in for the semester. I've already navigated to our Econ 103 Microeconomics, and we show up right at the course homepage. Toolbar there up on the top, course home brings us right here. So first off, let's talk about this course homepage. We have our little picture splash which says, hey, we are in microeconomics. Good, we're in the right place. Then we have our news feed right here front and center. Right now in the news feed is just our welcome. Hey, welcome to the course. You'll notice as we move through the semester, this is where I'll post any blasts for any updates, for anything you need to be aware of, or any news items relevant to the course that I find relevant or interesting. As you go through, right, first things to do, hey, familiarize yourself with the layout, watch the introductory videos, and of course, read the syllabus. Carrying on, what's our textbook, lecture videos, office hours, you guys can all read. I'll let you go through that and see what's happening. On the right-hand side, we have myself, we have my contact information, that's the email there, as well as office hours, which are by request. I can be available to either meet in person. I am on both campuses, depending on the semester, but this semester I am on both campuses. So depending on the day, I'm one or the other. Feel free to reach out to confirm. I can also meet virtually by request, and we'll get how we can meet virtually as well from the comfort of our homes. So we'll go and take a look at that shortly. Calendar. This is the listing of events. Right now, everything's listed for semester start, September 7th, saying, hey, everything is right there. Really, all this is saying is all these things are available September 7th at 12:01 a.m. Also, hey, that's the case, that's the date where you get access to this site. So that's why that's all popping up. As those all come online, though, these upcoming events will really show you due dates. Hey, this is due at this time, this is due at that time, on and on and on. Here's the heads up of that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's our main site. Well, let's carry on. If this isn't really our main stop for the course, if we really want to go even one step farther, like, hey, outside of this main homepage, I only want to go to one other place. Where is that? Well, that one other place would be our checklist here. For our checklist, this is for every week of the course, weeks 1 through 14, as well as the final exam. We're going to have everything you need to complete in that week to be successful. And you can just check them off as you go through. So week 1, we're covering just the fundamentals. So what's the first thing we need to do? We need to read the syllabus. So, okay, you get that done and right, linked straight to it. Check. Awesome, I've read the syllabus. Watch the intro video. That's this one right now. Check. Yes, we've done that. Post your introduction to the discussion board. You'll see that this is hyperlinked right to that discussion board. You don't need to go and say, okay, how do I get to the discussion board? No, it's linked right here. You just got to click on this and it pops up and you can complete the task. Great. Read chapters 1 and 2. Again, it's just hyperlinked directly to the chapters. You don't need to go, okay, what are chapters 1 and 2? Where do I find this? What's our textbook again? Nope, it's directly hyperlinked. You just click on that and go to where you need to go. Watch the video playlist. Again, everything's hyperlinked. We have 2 videos of lecture and an example question to work through. Once you watch those, again, you're done. And then complete the quiz. The quiz is not yet hyperlinked, but it's there. It will be hyperlinked by the time this course goes live. So let's say we've done everything but the quiz, so we'll save it as that. And then, if we go back to our checklists, we'll notice hey, I've completed 5 out of the 6. So that is as I move forward and I'm like, okay, yeah, I got all that done on day 1. Oh, I think I have something else still to be done in this course. You can just come back in, check your checklist and go, oh yeah, I'm missing something. What is it? You can go and see what that is. If you wanted to adventure outside of the checklists, well, that is perfectly available for you to do. Again, just following this top toolbar, we can just move along from left to right. Discussions is our next one up here. So underneath discussions, we have 2 discussion categories. First one is our frequently asked questions, our FAQ, and the next one is our graded weekly discussions. So what we can do is we can click to expand, and you'll notice there's a frequently asked questions form for every week. So, hey, you have a question about something that was in the lecture. You have a question about something on the quiz or that weekly discussion that just didn't make sense to you, or you just have a question about something generally to do with that topic. Feel free to post it in here, and either myself or, hey, if another student has the answer, hey, please feel free to answer. I will then pipe in and say, yeah, no, that looks great, or we can add to it, or what have you. But great place to post any questions on course subjects that you have here. What also happens is I tend to get emails from students rather than it being posted here. That's fine, I understand. Maybe you don't want your name attached for whatever reason. What I will often end up doing though is say, hey, great question. Please see the frequently asked questions for the answer. And what I will do is I will just copy and paste your email into the corresponding tab, into the corresponding topic for the week we're on, and I will answer it there. That's not me being passive about it to say, hey, you should have posted it here instead. It's just that was a great question that I feel many students could benefit in getting the answer to. And as a result, I've just copied your email, your question into this form, and I have answered it as such. So again, keep in mind that is all there. And also keep in mind that, hey, one of the highest levels of learning is in itself teaching others. So if questions are posted here and you're like, I think I have the answer to that, feel free to post what you think the answer is and how you got there. Again, I will be taking a look at these anytime it comes up, and I will pipe in as to whether or not that was looking good or if it was wrong or if something needs to be added to it. In my experience, about 99% of the time, though, whoever's posting that response as to what the answer is, they're usually completely right. So not typically very much to add. Let's just collapse this form so it looks a little bit cleaner. And we have our weekly discussions. These weekly discussions are graded. This is your participation grade. We'll take a look at where all your grades come from shortly, but this is your graded weekly discussions. In order to receive your full participation marks, this is the big thing. It's not about whether you get it right or wrong. It's about whether you actively participated, whether you legitimately tried to answer the question. If you didn't really legitimately try to answer the question, well, it's not going to count. It has to be a legitimate attempt. What you need to do for each of these weeks is you need to post a full attempt and you need to reply with feedback to another student. If you just post your answer but you don't reply to another student, you don't get the mark for that week. Now with this one here, let's open it up and take a look at what this last little line here means. We open it up and it goes, hey, here we go, introduction, and it's posted. Right now it's showing it to me because, hey, that's posted by me, but really what this is saying is that, hey, if you haven't posted yet, you cannot see others' responses. You can't see what other people's introduction looks like until you post your introduction. Same for all of these. For the week 2 discussion, until you answer this question yourself, you cannot see what other people have answered for it. On and on and on. In all these cases, you must post first. So in that case there, if ever it looks like there's no posts, it's just likely that you haven't posted yet. Once you post, it will then open up everybody else's posts and everybody else's responses to the other posts. So keep that in mind. These are due every week on Sunday by midnight. There's a tendency by a handful of students to procrastinate. This usually ends up biting them. What ends up happening is they're like, yeah, okay, this took me 10 minutes to answer. So yeah, week 3, I'm going to wait till 11:30 at night to answer this one. And then you're like, oh my goodness, this one takes me half an hour to answer or an hour to answer if I didn't know what I was doing. So Make sure you're prepared with this. And then, right, the problem is, okay, all of a sudden it's 11:30, you're rushing to get through this one. You finally get it posted, it's only kind of maybe half done, and you still have to reply meaningfully to another student to get your mark for this week. So now all of a sudden you're rushed. Now all of a sudden you miss that deadline and you send me that email, hey, can I get an extension on this? And my response is no. For these discussions, you have the full week to do them. You can even see them ahead of time. It's tons of time for this. There is no extensions on these weekly discussions. They're entirely participatory. It's not the right or wrong. As long as there was a legitimate attempt, you're getting the grade. So there is no extensions on it. And I am pretty hard on that case there. I'll still get emails and I'll still reply to you, no, I'm sorry, there's no extension to be given. The only cases where I ever have given an extension is if something's come up and it turns out I made a mistake with the date, or I made a mistake in something that was pretty obvious that was overlooked. Then, okay, if that's the case, yes, that was error on my part, right? Bank error, collect 200, that kind of idea happening. So we have altogether 14 discussions, including our introduction. Okay, let's carry on. That's our discussion. We also have quizzes. On the quizzes side, we have 12 quizzes. And you'll notice that, hey, we have a whole bunch of quizzes. First 5 due on October 14th, and then we jump to November 14th, and then we jump to December 21st. So these quizzes, they're strongly suggested that you complete these weekly as you learn the material. However, they are not due until these kind of block due dates. And what are these block due dates? These block due dates are right now where I've envisioned that midterm. So first midterm covering the first 5 chapters is going to be right now envisioned for October. Second midterm is envisioned for November 14th, and the final exam, well, this is just set for the end of the final exam period, December 20th. So these dates may change, they may update once we solidify that midterm or final exam date. But the big takeaway is that you have a good amount of time to complete these. They don't have to be completed weekly. And with that, kind of the big thing is that you have 3 attempts. So often what ends up happening is students will do 1 or 2 attempts in the week that they've learned the concepts in order to solidify the concept, and they'll leave the 3rd attempt to complete right before the midterm as a study tool. That's perfectly fine. It's not your last attempt that's scored, it's your highest attempt that's scored. So again, these are available to you until the midterm that covers them, at which point they go away. Again, with them, feel free to work as a group on it. Feel free to work through them together. Each of these quizzes pulls from a test bank of over 100-ish questions and generates 10 questions for you. Now, it's not completely random. Every student's going to get so many questions on this topic, so many questions on that topic. But within those topics themselves, there's a huge test bank of questions I could ask you. So even if you work as a group, hey, that can be helpful because you can, hey, I'm short on this subject. I don't really know so much on this topic, where somebody else knows a lot on that topic. You can help each other out. Extremely unlikely that any 2 of you will have the exact same quiz. So big part there with the quizzes. Carrying along the top here to collaborate. This is our in-house version of Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts, depending on which one you've used in the past. If you used this one in the past, great. You're going to be familiar with it. The way that this is going to work is you just kind of go here to collaborate, and you can go click on this, and you can just join the course room. You can join the course room irrespective if I've started it or not started it, irrespective if I'm going to be there or not there. As long as this says unlocked available, you can access this course room. That means if there's a group of you who wants to create kind of a study session and meet virtually, this is available for you to do so. So again, something that you can access and something that you can go through. I believe even as a student, you can create a session and create it for a future date or send the invite to specific people as well. For any office hours, for any other virtual questions that we want to meet kind of virtually for, this is where we'll drop in to do so. Carrying on along the top, we have grades. So where exactly does our grade come from? This is outlined in the syllabus, of course, but again here, we have our midterms, midterm 1, midterm 2. They're worth 20% each for 40% from our midterms. We then have our weekly quizzes for 15%. You'll notice, hey, this dropped. What does that mean? Well, altogether we have 12 quizzes. I drop your lowest 2 scores. So right now, we look at it, hey, they're all worth 0. None of them have been completed. So automatically D2L just says, hey, let's drop the first 2. As you move through the semester, you complete quiz 1, well, quiz 2 and 3 will become the dropped ones. On and on until you complete all the quizzes and it drops your lowest 2. Carrying on, participation, another 15%. And again, it's just going to be either you got the mark or you didn't get the mark. That is, you either posted and participated and responded to another student or you didn't. And again, we have 14 of those altogether with the introduction. So that is, so far to recap, we have 40% from our midterms. We have 30% from our weekly kind of contributions, leaving a final 30% from the final exam. So that's how your course grade is determined and the parts thereof. Carrying on, what else do we have? We have our content. So content, what do we have in here? We have our syllabus. Syllabus isn't posted up onto this shell, this course shell yet, but by the time you log into here underneath syllabus, there will be a syllabus thing there. We have a lesson plan posted, so if you wanted to follow along with kind of my instructor's notes for chapters, they're there. Keep in mind these instructor's notes, they're pretty rough. They're just kind of to give me cues along the way as to, okay, what was the big idea that I'm teaching here? What was the big idea there? There's some helpful things, there's some little questions, some examples and the like, but again, those are rudimentary. They're just provided for an insight as to what's happening. We have some spreadsheet examples for isoquants or how to calculate your individual grades. And we have exam table of specifications. I see the midterm 2 one isn't loaded up onto this course shell. Again, I will load that before the midterm 2. What this table of specifications is just, hey, what is going to be covered on this exam? How many of the questions will be multiple choice? True, false, fill in the blank, short answer, right? And then on top of that, how many from this chapter? How many from that chapter? On and on and on and on. It won't tell you the exact question that will show up, but it will direct you in your studying so that you will know what to expect. Finally, so we had content, next one there, class list. Through the class list, you have everyone enrolled in the class. Right now, this is a instructor shell, so we just have a bunch of instructors enrolled in this. As we get into the semester, this will be populated with all the students as well as myself. One thing I strongly recommend is go and upload a picture of yourself into this, especially for the online courses. It just makes the whole course more personable. Rather than just talking at some name, some little blank picture there, if you can put it face to the name, it just makes the whole process a bit, like I said, a bit more personable. Again, if you're not comfortable doing that, no pressure. It's just one of those things that really adds to the experience. Okay, that is the overview of our D2L course shell. Hopefully you found that informative. Hopefully that cleared up some of the navigation problems that arise with this. If you have any questions about this or any questions at all with respect to the course, of course, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me. You can reach out to me through that class list directly through D2L and send me a message. You can also swing by my office. My office location and times that I'll be there will be posted as the semester progresses. Feel free to stop by to say hi or to ask any questions if you're on campus. Thanks for watching. Until next time.